In progress.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Lockdown 5.0. Featuring me, losing my mind. Loving these sound effects. We really should start taking advantage of this thing. It's amazing. Oh, I like that. Oh, I'll have to throw some in. Okay, Des. Happy Thursday to you all. I'm going to go through today's fun. As always, we have equipment and non-equipment options. So let's see how we go. Let's start. For those of you with a barbell and a bench, for those of you that have a barbell and a bench or a box, not ideal is a box, but still something, then you're going to do 3 sets of 12 bench press, okay, lying on your box. For those of you without, we're not going to do that. We're going to do a floor press instead. So you need to load your bar, correction, you need to warm up correctly, then load your bar, okay, and you start in this position here. So the bar is just above my knees. As I bring my torso to the floor, I'm going to bring my knees to my chest at the same time, and then the bar will finish up over my chest like this. Beautiful. And then from here, lowering the bar down until my triceps are completely on the floor, and press up. Lowering down, under control, and press. Lowering down, under control, and press. Okay? That's what I want. Once you've finished, you can drop it down, bring your legs flat, and it should, whoops, just roll away like that. I would definitely recommend doing that, then dropping the bar behind your head, particularly if you've got tight shoulders. That's not going to be a fun exercise for you. So, bring it back down and just drop it to your waist. Okay? For those of you without equipment, you should have an odd object, hopefully. Everyone can have an odd object. Like we've said, we've got jerry cans, milk, loads of stuff, okay? Find anything in your garage of a little bit of weight. If anything, if it's a bit of an awkward shape, it's just going to make those stabilizers, excuse me, not the hiccups, stabilizers in your arms and your chest work just a little bit harder. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? If you are using something like a jerry can and it's a bit too heavy, maybe try and tip some out into a bucket. I know it's a bit of a faff, but it's really worth it, in all honesty. Okay, so instead you're going to do the floor press, okay, but it is single arm this time, depending on the size of your object. If you've got a small, heavy object, then yes, single arm is the way forward, floor press. If it is heavy enough to use 2 hands, it's going to be quite narrow. Well, chances are it's going to feel quite narrow, but that's fine. Okay, again, 12. So if you're doing single arm, it's 12 each side, then rest. If you're doing both hands, it's 12 with both hands, 12 in total. Okay. The other alternative, if you don't want to use any other odd objects, is of course a push-up. 3 sets of 12 push-up. Chest touches the floor, thighs do not. Okay, like this. Each time. 2's enough. Don't make me do any more than 2. Okay, once we've done that, so that should take you about 20 minutes or so, maybe not quite that long, 15. We move on to today's workout. For those of you with kit, you will need a light loaded barbell. You have 60 snatches into 60 overhead squats. You're going to perform that as quickly as you can, okay? So, oh no, I'll tell you the catch. The catch is, every time you rest, you need to go for a 400-meter run. Hopefully you've tracked that out before, just running out your door. Get on Google Maps, it'll tell you. Okay, what does a rest equal, Mary? You all know what a rest equals, but I'll tell you anyway. I'm sure there'll be some of you looking at you, Maddie G, who will find a loophole in my system. You know what a rest is. When your brain says stop, that's probably when you're going to rest. Okay. If you let go of the barbell, your hands come off, that's a rest. If you put the bar on the floor and continue to hold on to the bar, but you stay there for longer than 2 seconds, that's a rest. Go for a run, okay? Yeah, I don't mind you holding the bar overhead, so the top of the snatch, that's fine, because that's not really a rest. You're still working to hold the bar in place. So if you let go of the bar, or you're down here like this, that's just let go and go for your run, okay? Be hard on yourself, guys. You're your own worst enemy. The more you run, the better. It's good fitness, okay? If not, hang on for dear life. You'll be fine. Oh, one extra pause, overhead squat. If you bring it behind the head and you rest like a back squat, done. That's a rest. I'm going to write that one down in Sugar WOD, because I know some of you will do it. All right, snatches. I've got my nice loaded light barbell going nice and wide with the hands. I need to make contact with the hips on the way up before turning over. I shouldn't need to squat snatch. It's going to be nice and light. Might just turn this off, otherwise you'll hear some noises, if I can. These snatches, this is what the overhead squat should look like. Cool. So again, if you do your overhead squats and then you drop the bar behind your head, that's a rest. Just put the bar down, go for a run. Okay? For those of you going for body weight, excuse me, so unfit. Just going to push this out of the way. So, same principle applies. Every time you rest, you must run. All right? Your movements are slightly different though. To be honest, the snatch is a really hard one to scale. As in come up with a body weight alternative. Becomes very tricky. Yes, you could do like a single arm snatch, but very few things are safe enough to start flinging above your head. So I'd rather just change the movement, in all honesty. So maybe have a medicine ball, or maybe you have something that you can clean instead. So what I mean is from the floor up to the shoulders. Okay, so a medicine ball clean or an odd object clean will look like this. Turning off. So maybe you've got something in your garage you can perform that kind of movement with. If you take your hands off the object, if you rest on the floor for too long, you must go for your run. Okay? Alternatively, completely change the movements. If you've got a box, do a box jump. If you've got kettlebell, you can go for a kettlebell swing. Just change it up, I don't mind. Okay? The other movement, I've just put a broomstick overhead squat, or obviously an empty barbell. Everyone should have a broom in their house, I would imagine. So in this position here, I need to lift the camera up. There we go. In this position here, you'll send the hips back and then perform your squats. Try and keep the heels down, of course, not like me. That's the alternative. Again, if you want to change the movement, I don't mind. You could do a single arm squat, which is really hard, or just dropping it down to the front rack position with an odd object. So you do 30 squats with your object on one shoulder, change and do 30 squats on the other. That might be an alternative. There's all kinds of different things. So depending on the kit you have, if the overhead position is no good for you and your mobility, then just drop it behind the head and do a back squat instead. Don't even worry about going overhead. Okay, so while you're in lockdown, you need to play it safe. Obviously, myself or the boys aren't there to give you some pointers. And yeah, all it takes is one awkward position under load and your body, you pull up a bit stiff. Okay, so it's probably not worth it. Just do the safer stuff. The fact you're moving, you're already winning. All right, so don't be too hard on yourself. I should see you guys soon. Happy Thursday. Be another video tomorrow. And I'll see you then. Till then, team. See ya. Bye.